Welcome to episode 8.18 of the Grumpy Brothers podcast. I am Chris Ludvigsen, joined by Ted. Say hey, Ted.
Hey, Ted.
Thank you to our listeners. Please subscribe and listen on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or Odyssey. Also, please follow us here on millions.co. Today, it's 95% all baseball. We're going to do a little bit basketball talk right at the beginning. We're getting near the quarter point of the season, so we're having our first mid-year review of baseball.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, quarter point. Yeah.
Almost at the quarter point.
Right. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Before we get to that, Ted, what's making you grumpy today?
I was driving somewhere and there was a guy in traffic on an electric skateboard. Hey, doing like 30. Because this was it wasn't on the highway, obviously, but he's on an electric skateboard. He's doing 30 or close to it.
One of those ones with the stand up with the handle at the top?
Yeah. I was having a hard time passing. Well, I was scared to pass him because what's the rule?
Right. Because, it used to be that bicyclists were supposed to drive against traffic.
Oh, no, they drive with, they're a vehicle.
So I remember when we were youngins, you were taught that if you were on a road with your bicycle that you were supposed to go against traffic because I guess that meant you weren't considered a vehicle. But I remember at some point it was
changed. Was also easier for us to see.
Yeah, maybe.
I think bikes are technically a vehicle.
Yes. So does that make a electric skateboard?
Scooter. Yeah, electric skater or skateboard or scooter or whatever. Is that a vehicle? And what are the rules of the road? It's like yesterday I was having my Saturday business meeting at Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
With
high-powered discussion.
With a business manager who's doing nothing for us. Absolutely nothing. I made him buy. So I'm sitting there waiting for him to show up, and it's outside of a Starbucks. There's a Chick-fil-A and there's a Starbucks, and the Starbucks used to be a bank, so it has the drive-through from the bank.
Oh, okay.
Tremendously busy.
Yeah.
And there's traffic coming from both ways, and so there is a guy comes down in front of me that's in a Porsche, and he's got to make a left into the Starbucks lane. And another car coming from the other direction makes a right in front of him. And the whole time, this guy, the Porsche, is in the lane. He is blasting his horn. And I'm sitting there going, it's coffee. This guy was, he was losing it. I thought he was going to get out and go after. I really thought I was going to see.
You'll be a witness to a road rage incident.
Yeah, right. I really did. But I began to think about it afterwards because when they both came out, they circled back in front of the building, and the woman in the red car, who really was not driving particularly well anyway. So, I could understand a little frustration on his part. I think he got right next to that car, and I think he saw that it was a woman, and a little older, and he just he blasted his horn one more time, and all. So he let this car ruin his coffee getting and rest of his day experience. I guess I don't know, but I just thought to myself, what are the rules?
Okay, so Ted, did the electric skateboardist have a helmet on?
He did. Yeah,
he did. Okay.
Yeah, but what
are the laws on motorcycles?
What are the rules of people pulling into drive-throughs? Because I avoid drive-throughs. I don't like them. So what is if you have two people coming from two different directions? Normally if somebody's coming from the right and they're turning right, they get the right of way in front of a car. So is that the same rule in a drive-through, or are you supposed to take turns? I don't know. But the guy in the Porsche was losing it. So I think he was just, I have a Porsche. I'm supposed to go wherever I want to go.
I keep on trying to correct you, Porsche.
But and he had his turn signal on. I have to give him credit. He had his
so Ted, one of my favorite commercials is Turning Into Your Parents.
Yeah.
And have you seen the one recently where the guy is upset because they're in a big traffic jam and people aren't doing the zipper?
Yeah, right. Approach? The zipper. Yeah.
So that's all I could think of when you thought it's a zipper. It's a zipper.
Yeah, but this guy, I mean, he was more than a little upset.
Yeah. Well,
I think he was, I think when they pulled up to the speaker, he started blaring his horn so the order would get screwed.
so Ted, if you were going for lunch, this would have been just before lunchtime.
No, it was breakfast.
Oh, it was breakfast. Okay, so that
Okay.
explains why he was so upset, Ted. He needed his morning coffee to get going.
It's still just coffee. And it's expensive. It's like whatever, $9 a cup or whatever. I guess if you have a Porsche, it doesn't really matter. But, I guess he's not worth. But I mean, it's almost like he let it ruin a perfectly nice Saturday morning.
So, the executive producer has enjoys Starbucks from time to time.
Yeah. Okay, fine.
And what she does, you were talking about the cost of the Starbucks drink.
Yeah.
And what she does is she has a mobile app.
Yeah.
And so whenever she places the order, it's like waiting for her, which is great.
Right. Yeah.
But I think that's the way they make you not think about how much it costs.
Sure.
Because every week or so you just put a certain amount on the app.
That's right.
And when you go through, it's like I'm getting it for free.
Well, you're not getting. Well, okay.
You follow where I'm going, but from a psychological
standpoint, you're not
pulling out your credit card and saying, "Here's $9."
Right. No, I get it. Yeah, I understand it. Yeah. So,
no,
I just between the guy and both of these things happened in essentially the same shopping center.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of like,
Ted,
it's kind of a high end. It's kind of a high end area, high end development. And
but I tell you, Ted. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you saw. You're talking about going for breakfast at Chick-fil-A. What do you have for breakfast at Chick-fil-A? They have like a
chicken biscuit.
Chicken biscuit.
Yeah.
Did you see that a couple of Wendy's are closing for breakfast because they're not making any money?
Yeah. Well,
you can't compete with Chick-fil-A and between
McDonald's,
Chick-fil-A and an Egg McMuffin and Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's pretty much a done deal if you have one of those three there.
See, now you have me thinking, Ted, about what is the proper protocol for a drive-through zippering situation.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But and I don't know what the rules are if you're driving past a guy on an electric skateboard.
I think if he's in a traffic lane, he has to be treated the same way as a vehicle. But my question is, if he was going to make a turn, did he give the hand signal? Like, did he throw the left hand?
He didn't make a turn in any way. But if he's in traffic, and you have to treat him as a vehicle, okay, fine. How come he doesn't have insurance? How come he doesn't have to register his vehicle? That's my thing with bikes.
Wow. See now, Ted. Woo. You know what? I'll have to speak to my friend who's the avid bicyclist about this.
Oh, well, he's going to say, "What, are you out of your mind? I'm not paying to register my bike and get insurance." But I mean, they could be just as liable for creating an issue. So Ted, particularly a guy on an electric skateboard.
I was getting ready to start my grump, but another thought hit my head about when you talk about registering it. We were at I think I mentioned we were at our game night last Friday night. Not 2 nights ago, but last week. And the host, the husband of the host and hostess, nice guy, very strong conservative politically. At the end of the evening, he, for some reason, decided that was the right moment to advise all of us the new taxes that have coming into place here in Virginia since we have a Democratic governor.
Yeah, you guys are getting smoked down there.
Yeah, we are. Yes, we are. Dog walking, Ted. You have to have a dog walking license now. But there you go. You talk about registering your bicycle.
Yeah. So it's something that they should look into. Yeah, it's another revenue stream.
Another revenue stream. Speaking of places with a lot of revenue stream, Ted, I'm very upset at myself because I thought to myself, Chris, you might lose your place as a grumpy brother in that you haven't come up with a really good grump for this week.
Yeah.
I had to come up with a preemptive one, Ted, but it rolls back into the high cost. My preemptive grump is this week I have to go to New York City on a business trip. Yeah. I've been fortunate at times to be there. We have a family member that has done very well financially. And when you can go to New York City and enjoy life in that lifestyle,
Yeah, right. Yeah,
it's fun. I get
yeah,
it.
it can be. Yeah,
But Ted, I'm one of these people that do not get the romanticism about the Big Apple.
yeah, I get you. Yeah,
For us mortals, it is and I want to say this as diplomatically as possible because I started with one thing and I want to back it off a little bit, but it's loud,
yeah,
crowded,
yeah.
doesn't have the greatest smell in the world,
No, it doesn't. No.
and it's extremely expensive.
Yes, yes.
So, like a while back, our company put out the company travel policies and how much you're supposed to spend on a
Yeah,
hotel night.
yeah,
Let's just say we're blowing well past that
yeah.
for a couple nights in the city.
You have no. Yeah, you can't surprise. One of my last trips that I ever had to go on was to New York, and the company made the arrangements.
Mm.
It was at a Marriott Fairfield
Okay.
across the street from Madison Square Garden,
Okay.
and it happened to be. They had that preseason like NIT or something where they
Oh, right,
invite
yeah, basketball, yeah, for
yeah,
college, yeah.
yeah, and so that there were games being played that night. You want to take a guess at what the room for one night was? One night,
5?
8.
You're kidding me.
I'm not kidding you.
For a Fairfield Inn.
For a Fairfield Inn, it was about $800 when you add it up, with all the taxes.
All the taxes all in.
Yeah, but I mean, it was
Wow.
$800. Yeah.
Wow. We're getting a bargain. It's like $370 for there's a part of Marriott called Delta Hotels.
Right, right.
Sort of like
Okay.
a mid-level
Yeah, yeah.
down from Courtyard, step up from Fairfield, sort of in that
Right,
range.
right.
I think we're getting 3 rooms, 2 nights for like $370 a night plus taxes and all the fees. So by
Yeah.
the time we're out the door,
It would probably be
close.
around 500 by the time you
Yeah.
get. But I mean, now of course it was across the street when there was a major event
Yeah.
at Madison Square Garden, so that probably had something to do with it. But still, it's a lot of money.
Your travel agent needs to do a better job because they could have probably gotten you. I don't know where you had to go for business, but there had to be something a little bit 5-10 minute longer walk that would have saved you a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, well,
but Ted doesn't do walks. Ted,
I would have walked. No, it's just I didn't have anything to do with it. They just said,
I
"We
know.
want you to go here and
Put you
do
there.
this, and this is where you're going to go." And okay, great, yeah. Whatever.
One time I went up for a business trip and I was trying to find the least expensive because I was mentioned last week that I tried to spend the company's money like my own.
Right.
And I found a place that was pretty reasonable. I can't even remember what the chain was. And it was literally 2 steps from the bed to the door for the bathroom. So it was like a bathroom, a bed, and a TV, and that was about it.
Yeah, right.
But for one night,
Okay.
you dealt with it.
Right. It's all you need. Yeah.
There you go. All right, here we go, Ted. You ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay.
Hey, you should get you should call ESPN. They're starting some sort of sports Jeopardy, and they're going to make Joe Buck the MC. I think they could save a lot of money and let you be it. Just saying.
I'm down.
Just saying. Just saying.
I'll take a quarter of Joe's salary.
Right. Exactly.
For that particular event.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, Ted. One of the baseball teams playing fairly well, they were in first place until a couple of days ago, was my Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah.
Their success is largely due to improved pitching, even in the heyday of the Big Red Machine of the 70s. The team was not exactly known for its pitching.
No.
Now, Ted, I did not want to embarrass you by asking who has the most wins in franchise history, because even the king, I would not expect to know the name of Eppa Rixey.
No, I
who pitched from 1912 to 1933 and had 173 wins.
That's it?
Again, not great pitching.
Wow. I was going to go with what was the guy that threw sidearm that in like the 40s, if I could remember his name. That was the guy who I would have thought it was.
Are you talking about Joe Nuxhall?
No. It was he had one of those weird names, and he was
okay.
left, or he was a right-handed side.
Okay, so Ted, the top 6.
Yeah.
The top 6 in Cincinnati franchise history all pitched prior to 1950. The most recent one was number 4. No, the most recent one before the 1950s was someone named Bucky Waters, He
Yeah.
pitched from
Okay.
1934 to 48 with 160 wins. Ted, 2 of their top 6 pitched in the 1880s.
Woo. I don't know that I count them, but that's
Because
all right.
you remember, for people who don't realize this, as long as we were young bucks, the first baseball game every season was played
Right.
in Cincinnati because they were the first major league franchise,
Right.
first
Right.
professional franchise. Okay, so Ted, let's get to the question here. Now that I've done the backdrop,
Yeah. Yeah.
only one pitcher in Cincinnati Reds history
Yeah.
is in the top 7, number 7, and
Yeah.
he pitched after 1960. In fact, he pitched from 1960 to 1970.
Oh, so Don Gullett is not the answer.
Don
Okay.
Gullett is not the answer. You want to take a stab at who number 7 is in all-time Cincinnati pitching franchise history in our era, in the
Yeah, right.
Ludvigsen Grumpy brother era?
Yeah, and that's because my first inclination would have been, Milt Pappas, but he didn't pitch long enough there because he was traded,
Right.
or he was
in
traded
the worst trade in baseball history.
I don't know. It was bad.
It's up there.
Oh gosh. There must be somebody I've heard. The only guy I can remember from anything who was actually had one good year was Jim Merritt, but I'm sure it's not him.
So close, Ted. So close. Do you remember Jim Maloney?
Oh yeah. The funny story about him was that I read about I guess it was towards the end of his career.
This is Maloney?
Yeah. They said, I think it was a spring training game or something, and your buddy Johnny Bench was catching, and apparently he threw one, and Bench put down, number 1. We want number 1, and he threw it, and I guess, and Johnny didn't think he was giving it his all or something like that. So he put it down again, number 1. And when he threw it again, and he caught it with his bare hand and threw it back to him. Unsure if that's true, but it's a great story if it is. Yeah.
So Ted, Jim Maloney, this is one of these guys that you never would think about, but listen, these stats are not bad, Ted.
Yeah.
In 11 seasons in Cincinnati, he started 258 games, went 134 and 81 with a 3.16 ERA.
Yeah. It's a different era, man. Yeah, different era. Yeah, game was played a little different, and pitchers were, they were expected. They were expected to go 9.
I get on my Instagram feed sometimes, like college pitchers working out, like in an indoor setting, and there's the pitching coach behind them, teaching them how to do this and how to do that. And whenever they're throwing a fastball, and they're just like grunting, like every pitch has to be the hardest. Like it's the 7th game, 9th inning, 2 outs, bases loaded, and they have to come up with their,
right.
Back when we watched, they weren't grunting every pitch. You remember the whole? No. You remember the saying they held a little back. Yeah. Pitchers don't do that anymore.
I'm trying to remember. The one guy that I sort of felt like was max effort, kind of, or routine, or more max effort than most in that era was Guidry, but he was small, and he didn't last. He had like 5 or 6 good years, and but he could bring it.
Yes, he could. Louisiana Lightning, Ted, and the slider. The slider was the pitch, Ted.
Yeah.
Okay, Ted, before we get to baseball, let's give a quick shout out to the Philadelphia 76ers. Capped a 3-1 comeback against the Celtics with a 109-100 win in Boston last night. The win was a little tainted by Jason Tatum being out. The Celtics needed that extra score.
Celtics have to change the way they play to some degree, right?
I mean, it was one of those games they shot 26% from 3.
Yeah, they're a one-trick pony.
I really grew to like Missoula as a coach this year. Jaylen Brown, I think, has to be in the top 3 in anybody's MVP ballot. And Derek White finally gave them a great game. But Ted, the reason I wanted to bring this up was last week we were not particularly complimentary of Joel Embiid.
No, but he did play well. No.
39 minutes, 34 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists. He was the best player in the game for 3 quarters last night. And then Tyrese Maxey became the closer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maxey was not good, not great. He was fantastic in that last quarter, going to the basket, getting buckets when the game was close.
Yeah, and now they're in a position where, if Embiid is reasonably healthy, can play. I wouldn't expect that every night out of him. But if he can give them 3 or 4 games like that, they could beat the Knicks.
Yeah. Ted, listen to Maxey stats. He played 45 minutes last night, Ted.
Okay.
Shot 11 for 18 from the field, scored 30, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, only 1 turnover. That's a good basketball game.
Yeah, that's a nice night.
Yep. I told you I loved Edgecombe when they drafted him. He was very good. You combine Edgecombe and Paul George on the wings. Those two combined for 86 minutes, 36 points, including 8 for 16 from 3. Ted, the era of the big all-star team is over with the way they've done the salary.
Well, the money, yeah.
Right. That big four of Embiid, Maxey, Edgecombe, and Paul George.
Well, it's good. It's good. It's just how many nights are you going to be able to put it out on the floor? Because Paul George is not super healthy all the time either. So, I mean, that's the question with that bunch is how many nights can they get a good effort out of all 4 of them?
Yeah.
And if they can, then they have a chance to be better than certainly what I thought.
Yeah. I think they can beat the Knicks. And I think they can beat any of, you've got 2 game 7s today, the Pistons and the Magic and the Raptors and the Cavaliers. Between,
there's no team they couldn't beat.
Exactly.
If they can get 3 or 4 good games out of those 4 guys.
Yeah.
All at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They could somehow end up in the finals.
Yeah.
They could.
Yeah.
And they could go out in the next round.
Yes. And with Denver out, Ted, and the Lakers beating the Rockets, our quick little NBA wrap up, I assume it's going to be the Spurs and the Thunder in the West final, and whoever wins that series is going to be the NBA champion, unless some kind of crazy injury happens. Those are the 2 best teams, head and shoulders above everybody else.
And once again, if the Knicks are going to go to the finals, this is as good a chance as they're probably going to have. Yeah. Or another really good chance. I'll put it that way.
The key to the Sixers, Ted, may very well be the 5th starter, Kelly Oubre, and how well he defends Jalen Brunson, because I'm assuming he's their best defensive perimeter player. I'm assuming they're going to put him on Brunson and live with letting someone else beat them. So,
well, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, or he's certainly going to be in the rotation against Brunson.
Yeah.
However many guys they run up against him.
Yeah. All right, Ted. Let's go to the baseball, and I would categorize this. I want to see if you agree with me. This almost first quarter of the season has had a lot of unexpected results so far. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So the one thing we knew was going to happen that has happened is the Dodgers leading the National League West, but Ted, they're only a half game ahead of the Padres. The Braves and the Yankees leading their divisions are not earth-shattering. But Ted, who had the A's leading the American League West?
I think I said.
Well, I said they liked them.
I thought they would be potentially playing important games in September and Ted, as a wild card.
And Ted, they are only 1 game over 500, so it's not exactly like they're contending with the Braves for the best record in baseball, but they're right there.
And if somebody would remind the Mariners that the games before Memorial Day count, that would probably change how that goes. But whatever. And
then on the flip side of that, you have the Mets you have the Mets with the fewest wins in baseball, 3 less than the Rockies. Ooh. We need to do a stat on wins per payroll dollar.
Wow. Okay. How much each win costs them?
Yeah, think about that. Then you got the Phillies and the Red Sox also struggling, and then conversely, you have the Rays and the Cardinals both having really strong starts. So there's a lot of things on both ends of the spectrum. But let's start with the Reds and the Phillies, because those are 2 teams that were both contenders that within 30 games of the regular season, fired their managers.
You mean the Red Sox?
The Red Sox. The Red Sox and the Phillies.
Okay.
The Red Sox and
Yeah.
the Phillies.
Yeah. Good. I think you said Reds, but that's
okay.
all right.
Red Sox. I do that sometimes.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So the Red Sox. That's why Joe Buck is hosting.
No. You'd have cards. It'd be fine.
Alex Cora in 2018 led the Red Sox to 108 wins and a World Series title. Since then, Ted, his record's only been 512, 487, just over 51%. Not exactly killing it.
No.
Rob Thompson took over from Girardi in 2022, led the Phillies to the World Series.
Right.
And he's had 5 consecutive winning seasons.
Yeah.
Clearly, these two guys know how to manage.
Yes.
Okay. I want to ask a big picture question first, Ted, before we get to those specific teams. Is their ousting the best example that managing a Major League Baseball team on a day-to-day basis, the manager has the least amount of impact on the team's success of any of the major sports?
I don't know. I mean,
because Ted, let me put it to you this way. So these guys clearly know how to manage, right?
Yeah. Well, I think so. Yeah.
Now, Thompson, if you're Rob Thompson and 5 seasons you've pushed all the rut buttons, said the right things, made the right moves in the bullpen. But Ted, if your team is the 4th worst hitting team in Major League Baseball, hitting 228, and your pitching staff is allowing 5.25 runs per game, also 4th worst. What is Rob Thompson supposed to do? Did he all of a sudden forget how to make a lineup card?
No. You just can't fire. You can't fire the players, right? You can't fire the player. If I was now we don't know. We're not in the room, right? We're not in the. So did sometimes players after a while just tune out to the same voice, and maybe they think that a new voice is what they need. Somebody said that the Phillies in particular, I'm like, but I mean, they were talking about the Phillies and they said the players have to look around and realize that they just got a good guy fired. And how does that affect them? I mean, I don't know. I just think they were making a change to make a change. In both of those cases. It's just, I think, because while I believe that they have some input as to who's on the team and how the team is, sort of constructed, they don't have the final say.
Okay, let me ask it this way then. Before the season started, we were less than optimistic. We had thought that the window for the Phillies had closed.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay. So I don't think we're necessarily shocked that the Phillies are where they are. I think we might both be surprised how bad it was.
It's looked bad. It's not even that it's bad. It's that it's looked bad.
You don't have to be a baseball expert to watch that team play a game and go, this is not a good team.
Right. Or it's not a team that looks very good right now.
Okay. Do you think the firing of either of these two managers is going to resurrect either team to make them at least playoff contenders, or maybe even get to the point where, like I said, in 2000, whatever it was, 22, the Phillies actually made the World Series? Is there a turnaround in either of these teams? We both like the Red Sox coming into the season.
Yeah. Well, the Red Sox have a big flaw. They don't have any pop in their lineup, right? The Phillies is just players were bad. The pitchers were bad. The hitters were bad. Now, again, we don't know if there was anything going on inside. Did maybe Thompson lose something because of the Castellanos thing last year? Did that have a lingering effect? I don't know.
The question there is, how well was Castellanos liked in the locker room amongst the guys?
Yeah, right. And
then, but Ted, if that's the case, let's say that's the case. last year, don't you think a team leader, maybe a Bryce Harper, maybe a Kyle Schwarber, would have come to Thompson and quietly said to him, "Hey, Skip, guys are a little frustrated about this."
Maybe they did. Yeah, who knows? Maybe they did. The other part is Castellanos didn't do it. He was bad.
Yeah.
So at some point you can't keep trotting out guys who aren't performing. You have to make a change, or you have to try something else. So I don't think Thompson deserved to be fired necessarily, but they're just trying. I think they were just trying, hoping that a change would sort of wake them up, shake them up. I think a trade would have been a better.
Let me ask it this way. I can't remember the names of them. Is Dombrowski still the general manager for the Phillies?
He's the president of baseball operation, and Don Mattingly's son is the GM.
Okay. You're the GM of either the Phillies or the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Would you have fired both of those managers if you were the decision maker?
Well, again, without knowing what's going on, no. But I have no idea what's going on. I'm going to put it to you this way: if I was the owner, and Dave Dombrowski said, I want to fire Thompson. Okay, that's your call. It's in your, but you better make the playoffs. Because you're gone.
If you're going to make that move, you better have somebody
you're gone because you put this together.
Yeah.
You're gone if this team doesn't respond. I mean, making the playoffs might be a lot right now, to think about or to get to, because they started so far back. But you better get to, 80 wins, something like that, or you're done, because you put this together. You spent all our money, and this is what we got. And and the same thing with the Red Sox, I would tell the guy, you traded Devers. Now, Devers hasn't been great in San Francisco, but he was great in Boston. You traded him because you wanted Alex Bregman, and you got him for 1 year. You got him for 1 year, and he bailed. And now we have no pop in our lineup outside of Trevor Story, who's 30-something years old and being held together by baling wire, and we have no pop in the order whatsoever. So if this doesn't get better, you're gone too. That's what I would. If I was the owner, that's what I would do.
Okay, Ted. Let's go over to the worst team in baseball statistically, the New York, gotta love them, Mets.
The mess.
Yeah, the mess. The team is hitting .227, third worst in baseball. You add a lack of power, only 25 home runs, fifth worst. You get the second lowest scoring offense in Major League Baseball, 3.44 runs per game. Only ahead of the Giants. Oof. Soto's hitting .344. He's not hitting for any power either. But Ted, I did the math. The combination of Francisco Lindor, the $30 million man, Bo Bichette, whatever he's making, Luis Robert, Polanco, Simeon, and Alvarez. Those 7 players are hitting a combined .218.
Yeah, it's not going to get it done. Well, Polanco has even played. I'm not sure he's even played yet.
He's played a little bit.
And Soto, he missed 2 weeks.
I don't understand. I understand how Soto is hitting .344 because I would never pitch to him.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's something to be said for that. Yeah, nobody else is hitting. So, Bichette has not been good. Luis Robert has kind of been what he was with the White Sox, and now he's hurt. He's on the disabled list, or injured list. I mean, Marcus Simeon has not.
Could be that he's just run out of gas. He's 35, 36 years old.
Yeah.
And
right.
At some point, unless you're taking steroids and or Barry Bonds, bat speed slows, you just can't get to the 95-mile-an-hour fastball anymore.
Yeah. And so so they make the trade. It sounds like, that, whatever that trade with Nimmo is in large part some sort of clubhouse issue, right?
And not only clubhouse, but players' wives were involved in.
Oh God!
Like this wife didn't like that wife, and
okay.
What I've heard, Ted, I can't remember if I heard this on Mad Dog, but I think it might have been on Mad Dog that like Francisco Lindor's wife didn't like Nimmo's wife.
Okay.
Sit them apart,
Yeah, right. Yeah. What is it? The Real
Housewives
Queens?
of Shea Stadium.
or whatever it's called.
Citibank, City Park, whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, just sit them on other sides of the. Who cares?
Okay, Ms. Lindor, you get to come to the Tuesday night game.
Yeah, right.
Nimmo,
yeah.
you get to come to the Wednesday night game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it would affect people, because you have to.
And then if it does trickle down to the players, if Nimmo and Lindor,
right,
and then if it leads to factions within the locker room,
yeah,
like you
something
have
has to
Nimmo's
happen.
guys and you have Lindor's guys, and
something has to happen. Yeah. But I mean, if that's what it is, if that's where it started, that's.
Then Ted, you combine that with the 16th worst pitching staff, 4.5 runs per game. Clay Holmes has been pretty good.
Yeah.
The youngster McLean has been pretty good. Those two guys are 4-4 and combined 12 starts, combined 2.15 ERA. Nothing wrong with that. Peralta's been okay. Peterson, Minaya, and Senga have been bad. You throw in a 7.2 ERA from the closer, Devin Williams. You got a bad offense, you got a bad pitching staff. Hence, you have the least wins in Major League Baseball.
I kind of give the Mets owner credit for not firing the manager. I'm sure a lot of people up there are like, firing. No, it's at some point they have to play. If they play badly, there's nothing you can have John McGraw. It's not going to matter. They have to play. So I give him credit. I don't think he'll last. I don't think Carlos Mendoza will be there for the full season if this continues, or if he is for the full season, he won't be there next year, right? They'll have to make a change.
Well, to your point from a moment ago, I've heard a lot of people. I think this general manager's name is Stearns.
It just came in from Milwaukee. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say he's the real culprit here because he made the Nimmo Simeon trade, and he's made
signed Devin Williams out because he had him in Milwaukee, and he was
let Alonso walk, and Alonso was the perfect guy to hit behind Soto.
And the other thing was Alonso was one of their, he wanted to be there. He liked it. The fans liked him. He was a Met. He wanted to, he didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
He really wanted to stay. They just wouldn't pay him. And, okay.
Mets, Phillies, Red Sox. One of these three makes the playoff. Which one?
I think the Phillies, because they still have the best pitching of the three.
Okay. And Wheeler has come back and is starting to pitch a little bit.
Yeah. Now, see, that would have been a thing if I was going to fire Thompson. Wheeler pitched against Atlanta last Sunday in his first start back. In the first 3 innings, he kind of breezed through. And then in the 4th inning, he was out there for like 32 pitches. And I was like, sitting there watching it going, yeah, that's great.
First
2
start
years
back,
ago.
That's
First start back after a major surgery. I think I would have gone and gotten him at some point.
like make it a success. Get him after 3 and then make it a success that you can build on.
Yeah, I mean, he let it like maybe 1 or 2 runs, but it was just the number of pitches on a new, I realize he says he's ready to go, but do you really want to do that to him?
Put that much stress on the first time out. Yeah. To the Dodgers' credit last year, I remember when Shohei came back, he pitched an inning. That was it.
Yeah, right. And for a couple of times, yeah. He built himself up to being able to pitch 5 or 6 innings in the playoffs.
All right, now let's go to a couple teams that have played well. The Yankees lead the American League East with their and have the most wins in the American League, continuing their use of their slow pitch softball offense. They lead the Major League in team home runs while having the 7th worst batting average of 232. Judge is doing his thing. He's hitting about 260, but he has 12
I saw 268 or 269 today.
Something in that range, yeah. Ted, the best news is they may have found a new star in Ben Rice.
Yeah.
330, 11 homers, 26 RBIs. On the mound, Max Fried has been great again. I didn't think Fried was this good. He's been really good. Cam Schlitter, the young guy, has been equally good. They're combined 8-2 in 14 starts, combined 1.882 ERA. Weathers and Warren have been good.
Right.
I'm not 100% sold on Bednar as the closer. And I want to see them hit at least 250 as a team. If they can do that, and they still have Garrett Cole coming back.
And Rodon.
I forgot about Rodon. With the Red Sox struggling.
The thing about the Yankees, I saw this yesterday, I think it was, that the four starters you mentioned, all their Weathers is at 3.03 and the rest are under 3.
Yep.
So you have a chance every night with it, particularly with a team like that. Bellinger yesterday hits 2 home runs. Grisham's hitting a $155, but he's got 5 home runs. The only problem offensively I think they have is the catcher and the third baseman. Neither one is hitting.
Neither one hit. Yeah.
But they can, if everybody else is doing, they could probably carry some of that, for a while anyway. And they don't have to now, if they have a little bit of a lead, they have good pitching. If the pitching holds up, they don't have to rush Cole or Rodon back. They can let them take their time, get healthy, and then come back.
And then Luis Gil is on the IL.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they have 3 potential really good arms still to come back.
Yeah, and if these other 4 guys are continuing at a similar pace, for the next 6 weeks, there's no rush on any of them. We can take our time. So the Yankees are in a pretty enviable spot right now. I did not think that they would come out of the gate this fast. I thought their pitching would be a bigger problem than it's been.
Yeah. Ted, I think I was 1 year off in my prediction that the Braves were the one team in the National League that could challenge the Dodgers.
Yeah.
They have a great combination. They lead Major League Baseball 5.6 runs per game and third in pitching. They have a +2 run differential per game.
Yeah.
Acuna's not really even hitting yet.
No. Riley's not
hitting,
either.
Riley's got over 200. But Ted, the combination of Drake Baldwin, Matt Olson, Ozzie Albies, and Michael Harris are hitting a combined 309 with 31 homers and 96 RBIs.
That'll get it done. The Braves were banged up all last year. And if they can keep themselves reasonably healthy, then it's a question of, do they have enough pitching?
Okay, now
enough starting pitching.
Okay.
I think their bullpen's okay, but I think their starting pitching.
What is the status with Iglesias? Because is his injury long term?
No, when they were on TV the other day and they said he was coming back, what would probably be this week.
Okay, so Suarez, a great free agent pickup.
Yeah,
Ted Suarez 2-0, .66 ERA, .88 WHIP.
That's pretty good.
Iglesias comes back. It's a 7-inning game.
Yeah. It really is.
Yeah. Chris Sale has been great for the second year in a row. The other 4 starters, you put their 5 primary starters together, Ted, combined 29 starts, 14-5, 2.8 ERA. Now, some of these guys are not super big names.
Right. I
don't know that they're going to stay at that level, but is there any reason to think that this Braves team I guess the big thing is, knock on wood, is injuries with them.
Injuries, and how is the starting? I mean, I don't think that the starting pitching's ERA is going to be 2.8 for the year. Can it stay below 4? Stays below 4, they're in pretty good shape, right? If they're getting 5.5, 6 innings out of these guys and they stay below 4, and their offense stays reasonably healthy, they score runs. So yeah, if you're scoring 5 and letting up 3.5, you're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah, and like I say, Acuna really hasn't even done that much yet.
It's just they just have to get him started and Riley started a little bit, and
I'm surprised Riley's not having a better season. We were down in Raleigh. And it was a Friday night, and it was actually the weekend that they swept the Phillies.
Yeah.
And in that Friday night game, Riley hit 2 home runs opposite field to right field. And
yeah,
I thought to myself, that's a really good sign if he's doing that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You would have
clearly thought it was like a 1-game situation, because other than that, he hasn't been great. But
I wonder long term, because if they're going to let Baldwin keep catching. That guy can hit. And do you want him back there 100, 110 games a year getting banged up, or can he play somewhere else? Can he play left field well enough to be acceptable? because that's long, because this guy can hit. So, I mean, and particularly as a catcher, he's a great asset.
Yeah.
But, if he can hit 7 or 8 more home runs and drive in 25 or 30 more runs playing left field, maybe that's his long. I don't know. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there as a kind of a. Do you think he's going to be a catcher for his whole career? And I would think not. I would think if he can do anything else, they would put him out there. So I would rather have him swinging the bat than. I can find a guy to catch and throw, right?
Yeah. I was going to talk about my Reds a little bit.
Go ahead.
They've dropped into second place. The Cubs have put a 7-3 stretch together. Ted, it's fascinating to me that in the second season, the Reds under Terry Francona are evolving into Cleveland South.
Yeah.
They don't hit. They're playing in that park.
Yeah, they should hit more. Yeah.
They're 22nd scoring under 4.2 runs per game. They're just above or just below the league average in pitching 4.53 without Hunter Green.
Yeah.
Is it possible that Francona is creating his second Jose Ramirez in Ellie De La Cruz? He's not quite Ramirez.
No.
With 273, 10 homers, 25 RBIs. You add the 22-year-old first baseman Stewart, 271, 9 homers, 29 RBIs.
Yeah, they need another bat. Keep Brian Hayes. You can't have a third baseman hitting $122. It's not going to work. So they have to find a solution to either fix him or they're going to have to move him out. Right? You just can't have that. And they need somebody else, at least one more guy to sort of start swinging the bat, or they have to go get somebody.
Yeah. And then go
ahead.
The question is, financially, do they have the resources to go get a bat?
Well, it's 1 year. Can you figure out
with the impending?
Well, not only that, but I mean, let's just win. Let's win this year.
And Suarez, I think, is on the DL, and I even forgot to look and see if he's even been productive in the time that he's been hitting or playing for them. Let's see exactly what Suarez is doing if I can find.
Well, the thing, and the other thing is, Hunter Green, their pitching is okay. If Hunter Green comes back, because I think he's supposed to come back, right? He's supposed to come back like in the middle of around the All-Star game or something. If he comes back and has a big second half, that's like making a trade without giving up anything.
Yeah. Suarez is on the DL. He's played. He's played 25 games, 3 homers, 11 RBIs. He needs to step up a little bit.
Whereas Keep Brian Hayes isn't with them. He's with them. I was watching them yesterday. They were playing the Pirates. He was playing.
There.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, and
I thought that he got him. They got him from the Pirates, right?
Yeah.
And Suarez was supposed to play third. Okay.
Yeah.
He pulled his oblique. He'll be out for a month. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
And then on the mound, Abbott has been
good.
Abbott's been good. The rest of the pitching staff, I don't know. Chase Burns has been very good. No, Abbott. Oh gosh, I just realized Abbott has a 6 ERA. That's not getting it done. Burns is the one who's.
He had one. I think he had one night where he got knocked around, but in general, he's been okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I think the Reds are pretty. I think the Reds have a chance. The Cubs have played really well, and I think the Cubs, if everything, because I've seen them a couple times now on TV, if everything holds together, I think the Cubs can be. I think I think they gave the center fielder a contract too soon. I'm not sure he's as good as he was.
Pete Crow Armstrong.
Yeah, I think he's a great center fielder, but I'm not sure he's the hitter they think he is, because he had that one half last year, and then the second half, something got figured out by everybody else, and he has not been as consistent, or at least in the games I've seen. But
so far 236.
Yeah.
3 homers, 13 RBIs.
Nico Horner's been good for him. The first baseman Bush has had a kind of a slow start.
The catcher, Kelly's doing a good job for them.
Yeah.
Suzuki, the right fielder Suzuki, 301, 5
Yeah.
homers, 10 RBIs. He's doing a good job. Swanson's got to pick it up, 219. Yeah.
Yeah, but the one thing you always have to think about with teams like Chicago and Boston and even New York teams and even the teams here is the weather in April for hitting can be difficult. So if you play a lot of home games, you're gonna struggle.
And then the point that you always make about these big city franchises is they have the financial means
Right.
to go make a move midseason to fill a hole. Ted, the team that we both thought was the best team in the major leagues, the Dodgers. I have two concerns if I'm a Dodgers fan.
Yeah.
Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
He had for him an off year last year.
Yeah.
He's been injured, but in the games he's played, he's hit 179, 2 homers, 7 RBIs. Just not good enough. Well, only 8 games, but and then Edwin Diaz, the closer. Yeah. They expect him back in July or August, but elbows.
Well, this was I think it was he had bone chips, or they said loose bodies.
Okay, so
I don't know where you get a loose body and just have it floating around in your home. No, but he had chips in his. So you would think that if they just take them out,
okay,
they shouldn't have too many issues with like where he would need Tommy John or something like that.
But Ted, we talked about it. In the last couple of years when we talk about the Dodgers, we talk about their incredible depth, both offensively on the mound. So Diaz goes out, and they replace him with last year's big free agent acquisition, Tanner Scott, who's doing a great job so far. 2.03 ERA, 0.75 WHIP. So he's not Diaz, but I think he can hold the fort down until.
Yes, he can. Yeah.
Anything happening with the Dodgers that has you concerned, or
the only thing with the Dodgers is their age. To me, of their position, a lot of their position players. Freeman's he's not young. Edman hasn't come back from this ankle thing, whatever that is. Muncy's going to retire at the end of the year. How many more years is Will Smith going to catch? Teoscar Hernandez is at the was he at the end of his contract, or he got one more year after that? So, I mean, they've got a little age on that team, but that's the only thing. I mean, otherwise, it's injuries. If they're injuries and maybe attention, I'm not sure how much attention they pay in July.
Yeah.
But if they show up on Labor Day with 5 healthy starters and a healthy lineup, you got a chance. You got to figure that they're going to make a run.
Yeah, Ted, you make a great point here. Wow. Will Smith, 31. Freddie Freeman, 36. Muncy, 35. Teoscar Hernandez, 33. Shohei's 31.
Yeah.
Miguel Rojas, 37. Mookie Betts, 33. Yeah. Ted, I want to throw one last thing at you. We got a little time here.
Yeah.
How much of our Nationals are you watching play these days?
I don't get to see them,
because of the whole Masson situation.
Yeah,
Ted, the Nationals are 5th in offense with 5.2 runs per game. They're hitting the ball.
Yeah, they're scoring runs. Yeah, so far they've been scoring runs.
And my guy James Wood, he's only 238. I thought he was hitting for a higher average than that. 10 homers, 24 RBIs.
Yeah, he's hit some. He's had some big games. He's had some big hits. From what I can tell, they get contributions from a lot of different players. It's primarily their pitching and their bullpen is really not been very good.
Enough.
Yeah,
CJ Abrams is 289, 8 homers, 27 RBIs, and Ted, it's just a shame they've made that move. I think the Soto trade I think is bearing fruit, but Ted. KB Ruiz, who was supposed to be the solution behind the plate, just 186 each.
Yeah. The worst part is they gave him a 7-year contract when he first got there. So they've got like 3 more years of that thing. They've got the guy they traded for from Seattle, Ford, down in the minors. And I think he's supposed to come up I think they're waiting until whatever date it is so that his year doesn't count kind of thing. I think that's the only thing that they're waiting on at this point for him. But they've been better than I thought they would be, but I still don't have great hopes for them down the road.
Oh my gosh, Chad! I just looking at this. The combination of Zach Littell and Miles Mikolas,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
two veterans, a combined 0-7 with about an 8 ERA.
yeah.
Wow.
They've been brutal. They have really been, the two of them have been really bad. And I thought Littell would be a really nice pickup. I wasn't sure about Mikolas because he was kind of on a downward trend
Yeah.
anyway. But
Yeah.
I thought Littell would really help, but he's been getting knocked around too.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of Nationals, did you know Patrick Corbin is pitching for the Blue Jays? I think he's 2-0.
No, I didn't see that.
And his ERA's under 4.
Wow.
They picked him up when they started having injuries, and he sort of helped stabilize the rotation. So good for him.
He's rediscovered the cutter, Ted.
I don't know what he's
that
doing.
Must be what it is.
I don't
in
know.
Washington, I never see him throw the daggone thing for a strike.
Well, he got away with it for a while when he could throw a fastball, but whatever he's doing, I'm okay with it. I always hope he's successful because he never looked in the dugout, even when he was getting shelled. Yeah. He never looked like, just give me the ball, kind of thing.
Are there any of the big picture baseball things you wanted to discuss?
I think that, we underestimated because I know I was mistaken. I did not know that Tampa was going to be playing in the Dome this year.
Right.
They're better. They're better playing in the Dome. That's how the team was built. They're not going to have to play all those games on the road in July and August.
When it's incredibly hot and humid and miserable.
Yeah, but I mean.
Oh, right. Yeah.
They're going to be on the road. They're going to be able to play home games, so their schedule's a little more balanced. They might be, instead of the Red Sox making the playoffs, they might be the team that makes the playoffs because this is what they do. This is how they know how to, that's how they know how to play. Just, so I was surprised. I didn't think that they would get that stadium done that quickly. So, I think that they're a bit of a surprise.
Very much so.
And the Padres were just sold or being sold for about $4 billion. So good for them. And that's another team that, they signed Lucas Giolito. So when he gets in shape, he'll be able to come up and help their pitching and they're hanging around. They're pretty good.
I'm looking at the Rays and the third baseman Caminero.
Yeah, Caminero. Yeah,
Caminero. Yeah. He's not quite Jose Ramirez, but 269 homers, 16 RBIs.
He can't run like Ramirez.
Yeah,
I mean, he doesn't steal any bases.
The first baseman, Jonathan Aranda, 7 homers, 27 RBIs, and only 228.
And they have that Yandy Diaz is still there. He can DH, and the manager, he knows how to maneuver his staff around. And I think they're going to be more problematic than I thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year. And we might as well stay in the American League East. I think if things don't go, the Orioles are going to have to do something with Elias or somebody in the front office. You can't keep you can't not trade for pitching or go sign a pitcher. You can't. I mean, this is brutal.
I can't remember who they were playing, but I saw the quintessential Orioles one game earlier this season. They got behind 7-1, and then the second baseman Jackson hit a home run, and then Alonso hit a home run, and they ended up winning 8-7. But that's how they have to win games.
Yeah, and then Jackson Holiday had some sort of setback from his hand injury. Westberg is out.
I like Jackson. I like Jackson.
Yeah, he came up last year and played some. I'm going to be curious. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, well, when Jackson Holiday comes back, what do you do with, I said, well, if one of them can play third, put him at third. I mean, this guy Jackson I think he played some outfield last year. If he can play the outfield, he can play second, stick him over at third and see if he can handle it there, because what you got going on there right now isn't very good either, So, and part of the problem with the Orioles is Gunner's hitting 207.
It's interesting how many of the World Baseball Classic guys have not hit at the beginning of the season.
I was watching Major League Network, and I don't know if it was Harold Reynolds or who it was, but they said that, they were talking about somebody, and it might have been the Phillies, and they said the problem with the Phillies and all these World Baseball is when they come out of spring training and they go to that, instead of getting 50 or 60 spring training at bats, they only get 15 playing in those games. And the pitchers, instead of throwing 20 innings or whatever, they might only throw 8 or 10 or 11. So it's not to be unexpected that they might get off to a little bit slower start because of that. And you're going, why are you doing this? The best idea that's come out of that sort of came out of that World Baseball Classic thing has been the idea that maybe they do what hockey did.
The Four Nations Classic.
Yeah, at the All-Star game instead of the All.
Yeah, but you'd have to take 2 weeks off.
Yeah, of course, 10 days at a minimum, and you can't have 47 teams in it either.
No.
It can only be 4, maybe 6.
Yeah,
tops.
But yeah, that's all you really need. You need U.S., Dominican Republic, Japan, Korea.
Well, you have to count Venezuela because they just won it.
Venezuela, and maybe Canada, or maybe
Puerto Rico.
Yeah. At the most 8. At the most 8, and maybe make it two brackets of 4. You play 3 days in a row, and then you play a single elimination tournament of the top 4. Done.
Well, okay. All right. That's okay by me. But you're right. It's going to be a 2-week thing, or close to it.
That's better than the All-Star break.
Oh, you mean as far as getting eyeballs to it? And you can't do it every year either.
Yeah, that's true.
Part of that is because of wear and tear on the players. You just can't can't do that every year. Yeah. So I don't know. It's worth trying. I think it's worth trying once, but or maybe they try and do it as part of the Olympics. That was another idea. Was they were going to shut down for the Olympics and do like hockey does.
The only problem is that then you have World Series games being played in mid-November. Sorry.
Or you have to schedule double headers, and they don't like doing that.
No.
Or I was having this discussion with my wife the other night because we were watching hockey, and she goes, I think it was the Buffalo series, and she goes, okay, so who this is? And she looked at it. She goes, wait a minute. This is the first round.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, it's a month. It's another month to go of all this. And she's, oh my God, and I was like, yeah, it's too much. It's way too much. All of these series should be 3 of 5 for the first round in basketball and in NHL.
And of course, if it was 3 out of 5, the Celtics would have beaten the Sixers.
Yeah, but it just, part of the reason, I think this is a large part of why, for example, guys in the NBA are blowing out their Achilles is they're just playing so many extra games that, and then when they get in the playoff games, then they actually are really going at it.
Yeah.
And after 82 games, I understand load management to a degree, but I don't understand changing the rules that you agreed to. But that's a whole different discussion. Yeah.
Let's go ahead and wrap it up there for the week. Thank you again to our fans for listening. Please continue to follow us on all our various social media sites. We have a YouTube channel. We're also on Facebook, X, and Instagram. You can also email us at grumpybrothersports@gmail.com. And with that, we'll say goodnight, and we promise to do better next time.